According to Banking News, something very important will happen in May and Russia will put its stamp on it. Russia and China defend their sovereignty as they come under pressure from the West and stand firm to fight back. It will likely be the most important visit by a foreign leader to China in recent years, and the world's attention will be on Beijing. Russian President Vladimir Putin will visit the Chinese capital in May and hold highly important talks with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. They will have discussions which will not only concern bilateral relations. On the contrary, whatever is discussed between the two leaders will be of global interest. It's recalled that the last leader Putin spoke with before the start of the special military operation Ukraine, February 24, 2022, was China's Xi Jinping, while the Russian president's trip to China will take place shortly, before the expected major Russian offensive on Ukrainian territory with emphasis on Kharkiv. In a strategic move that marks a world historical shift, Putin announced his visit to China amid escalating tensions with the West. This visit implies the deepening of Russian-Chinese relations and comes after the visits of U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Secretary of State Antony Blinken, which did not contribute even the slightest to the improvement of the China-American relations. Russia, the talks will attract the attention of the whole world. The upcoming talks between Putin and Xi Jinping will attract the attention of the whole world, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov confirmed. Preparations for the Russian president's trip to China are being completed, and the two countries will jointly announce the exact date of the trip, the Russian spokesman said. These days, any communication between the leaders of Russia and China is an event that attracts the attention of the whole world, Peskov said. Russia and China are sovereign countries. They are defending their sovereignty as they are under pressure from the West and are standing firmly on their feet to cope, the close association of Putin emphasized. Now, there are many issues of mutual interest on the agenda, with an emphasis on further development of the highly multifaceted bilateral cooperation, he points out. On April 25th, Putin revealed at the conference of the Russian Union of Industrials and Entrepreneurs that he plans to travel to China in May. The stamp on the book on the birthday of Xi Jinping. It will be Putin's first trip abroad since his comfortable re-election to the Russian presidency in March 2024. He even promised to bring a gift for Chinese President Xi Jinping, a copy of one of his favorite books, Nikolai Chernyshevsky's novel What to Do, with a stamp showing that it was delivered on June 15, 1953, date of birth of the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The request to give the book was as a gift came from one of the conference participants. The new order of things? Russia and China are gradually and methodically shaping the new world order. The turnover from the commercial transactions of the two states even exceeds $200 billion. It's worth noting that 70% of trade between Russia and China is settled in the national currencies, that is, in rubles and yuan. It's noted that just 2 years ago, the corresponding percentage was only 30%. Now it's 70%. Bilateral cooperation in the energy sector has now acquired a strategic character. Russia tops oil supply to China. Exports in natural gas, coal, and electricity are increasing, while Chinese companies are involved in flagship energy projects such as Power of Siberia, Yarnal liquid natural gas, Arctic LNG-2, Amur gas chemical plant, and a gas processing complex in Ust-Luga. In the new geopolitical conditions that are taking shape, the development of transport and logistics corridors that cross the Sino-Russian border is of particular importance. Aircraft manufacturing, shipbuilding, mechanical engineering, machine tool manufacturing, and joint space research stand out among the new areas for deepening cooperation between the two countries. Russia benefits from China's stance on the Ukrainian issue. Besides, Xi Jinping put a tombstone on Zelensky's so-called peace formula and calling into question the so-called peace negotiations for Ukraine in Switzerland in January 15, 16, 2024. Xi Jinping clearly advocated for negotiations junctions for Ukraine. During the recent visit of the German delegation to China, Xi Jinping stated in a meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz that Beijing is in favor of a process recognized by both Russia and Ukraine. Quote, "We need to de-escalate the situation instead of adding fuel to the fire. We must mitigate the negative impact on the global economy and avoid undermining the stability of global industrial chains," end quote, the Chinese leader noted. Russia is clearly benefiting from China's unyielding stance. The US and EU are China's main export markets, but the West is equally dependent on supplies of a wide range of Chinese goods, including military. China continues to pull back from US investments amid concerns over Taiwan sanctions. If the West starts an all-out economic war with China, it will mean Beijing fleeing the dollar and the euro. China has all the power to crush both these currencies and the global financial system that rests on them. The plan for Ukraine? The West will not be able to sever Chinese close ties with Russia, and this allows the latter to circumvent Western sanctions, noted geopolitical analyst Liuba Lulko. This is how Russia and China will implement their plan for Ukraine. If the situation on the battlefield deteriorates dramatically for Ukrainian forces by June, this plan can be strengthened with the participation of India, Brazil, Indonesia, South Africa, and other countries of the South. It's already clear that what demands Russia has. This is the denazification and demilitarization of Ukraine and the consolidation of territorial gains since the start of the special military operation. According to Putin, if Ukraine wants a negotiation process, then it's necessary to abandon diplomatic theatrics and lift the legislative ban on negotiations with Moscow. He added that Russia was never again resolving the conflict by peaceful means, but under the condition of implementing security guarantees. This is by Banking News. I've translated this from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. My Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.